What up, folks? It's your boy Chicago again, a handsome liberal with some somber news that we all have come to expect, and that is Gabby Petito has been found dead. It's not 100% confirmed, but the body fits the description, location, and things like that. FBI is on it, and even the FBI made it clear that they believe this is the woman that they've been looking for, pending, final verification from the medical examiners, but everybody believes this is Gabby. So what happens next? That's the title of the video. Gabby is dead. What happens next? We'll get into the like, subscribe, solicitations, and all that shit later on. This is somber news, so we'll deal with this right now. What happens next? Well, we already know. First of all, we got to fucking find out where the fuck Brian is hiding. Where is Brian Laundrie? It's kind of like where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? And as I stated in my previous video, Brian is on the run. Brian is on the run. Now, it probably will come out later that either family members, close friends and associates, or somebody else is assisting Brian. Brian is not the only person that knows where Brian is. Let's just be fucking real about this. Somebody is helping that dude. The same people who told that guy to shut the hell up and not talk and hire a lawyer are probably among the same people that are helping him now. I don't know if it's possible for the FBI to legally find out who paid that fucking lawyer that he has, but that person is probably also sending money to Brian. None of this is confirmed. I'm alleging all of this, but I'm sure a lot of you guys out there believe this as well. If you believe what I'm saying, type an amen in the comments because, yeah, somebody helping this dude. But what's next? Well, the FBI is going to do their investigation. Everybody and their mama believes that Brian is the one that killed Gabby. So my guess is there is going to eventually be some form of an indictment that's going to come down that involves an arrest warrant for Brian Laundrie. Now, it depends on what type of arrest warrant it is. I mean, when the cops are being pressured by the public to act, they're going to act, but that doesn't always mean they're going to act within the law or they're going to do things right. They're going to charge Brian no matter how this shit turns out. He was the last person to be seen with her, and any little piece or shred of evidence that he was around her when she died, they'll use that in charge and, throw it up against the wall like spaghetti and let's see what sticks. They don't need an ironclad case against Brian Laundrie to try him for murder, because they know they already have the court of public opinion locked up. And it's going to be, chances are there's going to be jury members when this goes to trial that are going to, know about this case. So it's not hard to see them doing that. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time that the courts have, thrown charges at somebody just because the public was demanding that person be charged. Coming out of Florida, I would say George Zimmerman and Trayvon Martin is a perfect example. George Zimmerman was not going to be charged until Al Sharpton and everybody else went down there and started demanding that this guy needs to be charged. And as you can see, it turned out to be a failure in regards to convicting the guy. So if you don't get a confession from Brian Laundrie, and he didn't leave a whole lot of evidence around it, this could be difficult. Now, the FBI is on the case as opposed to the Wyoming State Police, which her body was found in Wyoming. So normally you murder somebody in the state, it's a state crime. But because they were so much interstate travel, we don't know if the body was, if she was actually executed or she lost her life where the body lies, or was that a secondary spot he dragged her to? He could have killed her in Utah because they, obviously we know about this whole domestic violence stop that happened in Utah. Could have killed her there and drove the body across state lines and tried to find a better place, more suitable to hide her, which then you're committing crimes across state lines. So the FBI is involved initially because of the fact that more than one state is involved. If it turns out every single thing happened in Wyoming and he's no longer a fugitive on the run like he is now, it'll probably be narrowed down to the state of Wyoming, and they'll put out an extradition warrant for him. He'll be extradited back out to Wyoming, and that is where he will stand trial. That's fucked up to be from Florida, not from Wyoming. I don't believe he's from Wyoming, and then have to potentially spend a large portion of your adult life a long, long way from home. But anybody who spent time in federal penitentiaries can tell you they're used to spending time a long way from home. I'm only saying this because it makes it incredibly difficult for family members and people like that to come visit you if you're in Florida and all of a sudden you get your ass locked up in Wyoming. Now, if he deserved to be locked up, hey, chips fall where they may. You know, you did it. When they say you do the crime, you're going to do the time. But what happens next, they're going to try to pin this on Brian Laundrie, which everybody expects him to do anyway. And it's all a matter of him fighting it out in court in the trial. And my guess is, like I've been saying in several of my videos, it would not surprise me if Brian tried to throw in a self-defense plea. You have a clearly violent woman on camera with the police saying she initiated an event. He's scratched up. If she can hit you once, you know, now this is, I keep saying this so many fucking times, it's pissing me off, but we say this about men all the time. If he'll put his hands on you once, he'll do it again. Why the hell doesn't that apply to women? I don't know. But we have a violent woman, because when I say we have a violent woman, first thing people go, oh, there's no way she did that. It was a one-off thing, a bad apple, it was one event. No, if he puts his hand on you once, he'll do it again. That is a very common statement when it comes to men. I don't know why the hell it doesn't compute when I say the same thing, but I change the genders. And I'm getting comment after comment from sexist people that don't seem to see it that way. You get hit by a woman, oh, she just was mad, or it was maybe that time of month, or what did you do to deserve it, or maybe you were saying the wrong thing to her, or she was just emotional. You can't put your hands on a motherfucker. How hard is it to understand that? You know, I mean, seriously, just because a person is a man doesn't give you the right to beat the shit out of them or scratch them up or whatever the hell may have happened. So my guess is it wouldn't surprise me if Brian Laundrie came to court and his lawyer started talking self-defense. It is a very hardcore uphill battle, because I'm having the same battle just online with some of you folks. It's just okay to beat up on a man. As long as that dude is still alive, you'll be all right. I mean, that's just the way it is. So if it is this hard for me to get this across to you guys, and if the Utah police will let her walk with scratches on her face, it's going to be even harder in court with a dead Gabby Petito. So him going on the run, him keeping quiet and all of this stuff, that's probably the only option he has other than just to come on in with his tail between his legs and let him throw him in prison for the rest of his life or however long they decide. Now, if he keeps doing what he's doing, which is making the case pretty damn difficult and making them work their asses off, I'm sure there are probably 100 officers on this. I mean, because the feds are swarming his house. They got Brian's house surrounded. I'm sure they got the mom's house locked down. I'm sure they're all over them electronically. Everything they have, from phones to computers to tablets, everything they have, you got to assume it's tapped. I mean, they own these people like they're Bin Laden. Everything about them is being tapped. So you would have to assume that there are dozens of police officers involved in this. It is a national case, like I said before, if not global. So people are paying attention to this. They can't drop the ball any worse than Utah police dropped the ball. But like I said, because Gabby is a woman, we're not hounding the Utah police, but they really fucked up in this. I just can't stop saying it in every freaking video. They fucked up. She should have been in jail, and that would have solved it. She would have been alive, you know, due out in Utah with a domestic violence case. And here's something else. I watched the body cam footage from that involvement of the Utah police. I watched it again, and it just gets more distressing, because in the video, Gabby tells the cops, I'm not used to driving a van, he is. So they're 2,000 miles away from home. This broad doesn't even drive. He's driving. You're going to separate them and give her the van that she's admitted to you that she doesn't normally drive. But he's in a hotel somewhere, so he's free. She has a van that she doesn't normally drive. She's 2,000 miles away from home. What the hell do you think is going to happen once the police leave? She's going to call her driver back up. I mean, the chances of these two making contact with each other right after police leave is virtually, I probably put it around 95%. You think she's going to, what do you think she's going to do? Catch a bus home? She doesn't drive the van. She's making that clear. You think she's going to call relatives all the way in Florida to come pick her up in Utah? When you didn't charge this dude with anything and she was the primary aggressor? Clearly she's not scared of him. She was making that clear on tape. So you left this couple, violent couple, in a situation where it was pretty obvious they were going to get back together again. And that's almost certainly what happened, is that either Gabby called Brian or Brian called Gabby right after the police were no longer involved. And they got together, and the same shit that the police was supposed to arrest him for happened again, this time with Gabby losing her life. Like I said, my guess is Brian's going to show up with a self-defense case. I'd be very surprised if he wins that, because he's a man, because our courts are still sexist, and we do not allow men to, we don't allow men to stand their ground against females. Not unless there's a ridiculous amount of video evidence with her picking up everything but the kitchen sink and beating the hell out of him with. And even then, they might have told his ass he should have been able to block or throw him off of her. It's just the ridiculous amount of shit that is required for a guy when he's being pummeled by a girl. I mean, the guy got scratches on his face, and they do an investigation to determine the scratches came from her. And Utah fucked up. But yeah, I think that he's going to show up with a self-defense case. And once, now the problem is for Brian is, how did Gabby die? And this is something also that doesn't help Brian. When he lawyered up, and I guess I don't know if he talked to them at all, but he probably was not like heavily bruised. So unlike what happened in Utah, now he has no bruises on him. So even if he does say that she was violent without any bruises, that's not going to help his case. He's on a run, that's not going to help his case. He's not talking, that's not going to help his case. Is it possible that Gabby could have picked up something and was swinging at him a few times and he finally knocked her or clocked her over the head with a rock or something? Absolutely possible. But with no bruises or no scratches on him, and him being a man, that's not going to be accepted. Gabby said he picked up a bat and tried to hit her, and he swung and missed, and she picked up a rock and cracked him over the head, and he died of brain hemorrhaging. We might be willing to entertain that. We're not going to entertain that from Brian. So with the amount of sexism and double standards towards guys involved in domestic violence, I think that Brian will ultimately spend a lot of time in prison. I just believe that. His only option, his best option, is to do exactly what the hell he's doing right now. Shut the fuck up and let the police do all the work. Now, it wouldn't surprise me if they come to him trying to get him to take a plea deal, because you make us work a little bit less and we'll work with, maybe we'll take the death penalty off the table, or maybe we'll downgrade it from you spending the rest of your natural life in prison to something else. That's usually how that works, is that they don't want to do all of the extra legwork. It costs them a fortune, takes them a long time. And there's always a slight chance that you may be found not guilty. I mean, shit, if OJ Simpson can be found not guilty, any damn thing is possible. So, they had her with, her whole fucking neck missing and he got off. So anything is possible with the right attorney and, you get the right jurors. But it is an uphill battle, because we thought OJ was a guaranteed slam dunk. So it's an uphill battle. So if he is willing to take a plea deal, they could probably knock it down to 15, 20 years in prison. But like I said before, this is a no-win situation. There's no winners. There are no winners in this, because no matter what they do, Gabby's not coming back, and most of the public is not going to be happy with the sentence that Brian gets, unless it's death or natural life in prison or 40 years or something insane. If he takes a plea deal, if the evidence is overwhelming, he may, plead down or something, and we're not going to be happy with that either. We want blood, is what I said in my other video. We want Brian punished to the furthest extent of the law and then some. So it's, Brian already has an attorney, which is the smartest move any fucking body can make when they are the subject of an investigation. Hire an attorney, Hire the best one you can. Stay away from public pretenders, public defenders, or whatever you want to call them. Brian did all of that, which makes me fairly certain that Brian had help from day one. Because when you do something as awful as it looks like what Brian is in, when I say do something, even if you do it in self-defense, whatever, adrenaline's pumping, your mind is going crazy. This sounds like he made a phone call to a loved one or a close friend or associate that was not in a situation where their adrenaline was pumping and things like that. And they were thinking more rational, and they were completely on his side, and they made these smart decisions. Okay, you're going to shut the hell up. You're going to come home. I'm going to get you a lawyer, and we're going to keep you down for a while until they report her missing, and then we'll leave it at that. I mean, that's what it sounds like, is that somebody immediately, he picked up the phone, Mama, I'm in trouble, or Daddy, I fucked up, or something like that. And that person has financial means, they're of above intelligence, and they knew exactly what to do, and that's what has happened. That's what it sounds like. So the feds are going to charge her no matter what, or the state of Wyoming. One of those groups, because the outcry from public opinion is too strong. They're not going to just let Brian keep roaming around when everybody and their mama thinks that Brian is guilty of murder. They're going to charge him. But like I said, if he continues along the path that he's doing with lawyers and keeping his mouth shut, he leaves all of the legwork up to them, and if they don't have a lot of evidence, they're going to charge a guy with a flimsy case, and he might get off. He might actually get off. They may get him for something else, impeding an investigation or some of these. Because they're going to come at him with the fucking, they're going to throw the book at him, throw everything against the wall they can and see what sticks. So he may end up on some lesser charges, being on the run. Maybe he told a lie or something. Some of this stuff may come up, and if they have a hard time getting Brian, he keeps making this shit difficult, somebody in his family may end up getting charged with aiding and abetting or, perjury, lying to the feds or something like that. So, because you got media, police, angry protesters, not vigilantes, but people holding vigils, all of this is near his house. And the motherfucker ain't in there, and the parents knew he wasn't in there. And they didn't come out and say nothing to anybody. They come out, days later. Well, we ain't seen them in a few days. You knew these people were camping outside your house thinking this guy's in there. So you guys are doing the same shit he doing. So, yeah, it makes me wonder, well, are you helping him or not? Now, I said in my other videos that if I was his father or he was my brother or he was my client, I would advise him to do the same stuff. But nevertheless, it's making the parents look like they are in on it. At the very least, they're doing what they can to protect their child, which you can't blame them for doing that. But you got to be careful when you're protecting somebody who's the subject of an investigation. You may cross the line and end up committing crimes yourself. So what do you guys think? You think I'm on the right path? If so, give your boy an amen and subscribe to the goddamn channel. We're going to be talking about issues like this. We follow all world issues on this channel. All big topics, things like that. We also talk politics. I'm the handsome liberal, but I'll always see both sides of events, whether it's a meeting where Trump was right and things like that. We do all of that on this channel. So I'm going to ask that you go ahead and punch that subscribe button for me. If you like the content on the channel, give your boy a thumbs up. And if you got some beef with what I say, I can't hate if you hit the thumbs down. I can't hate on that at all. But anyway, your participation helps the analytics of the channel, and we will see you on the next video. Drop a comment. I respond to all comments. Your boy Chicago, once again, the handsome liberal, out.